Actually, let's get to Mark's question. So Mark's question was, because I know we differ in opinion here. So does Bryson's winning change the mentality? Mark Lyon asked, does Bryson winning change the mentality of a DJ who played a lot more woods and irons off some tees? And I'll let you have the floor first.
So I'm going to take DJ's side on this just because I feel like he is the type of player that doesn't really give a shit what Bryson's doing. Is he as strong and hit it as far? He probably could hit it as far if he swung that hard.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
Dude, he's fucking
he's
6'7". He's long.
You don't have to be bulky. He is.
You don't have to be bulky to hit it far.
You're right. He generates that speed, yes.
He could generate close to 200-mile-an-hour head speed. Does he need to? He's proven that he doesn't. Okay?
Has he?
John, you can't tell me. He's the player of the year. He just won the FedEx Cup. He's won every single year of his PGA Tour career.
That's
so
fine.
Yes, I can say confidently.
Okay.
I don't care what anybody says. Okay, this is my 0%. This is an honest take. He's a good golfer, but he's. I know where you're going with this. He's a second place golfer too in the majors. I do think that he needs to play better in the majors. He needs to stop. He needs to win and not play better. He played well. He's been playing well in majors. He needs to win majors in order to get some vindication on fans like yourself and me partly. I feel the same way, but I don't know. I don't think Bryson doing that is going to change really anybody's mindset. Like maybe Tony Finau will hit 80% instead of 75% just to you know what I'm saying? But I feel like everybody else isn't going to put in the commitment that Bryson did, is what I'm trying to say at this point. I feel like getting the younger guys are going to try and do what Bryson's done. That's where we're going to get it. The guys that have been on tour for a while, I think, don't pay any mind to what he's doing. Obviously, they see him winning, but they're not going to change their game or DJ.
And I'm glad you said that, because I didn't want this question. What I'm leaning to is more of a holistic view of it, not just bashing DJ. And
right.
So my point is specifically is that you just see it with when you see elite people in any field, in any sport, and in golf specifically, it's very obvious, right? We've had this run of 20 years, whether it's with equipment, this whole push of fitness into the game of golf. When something works and you get results from it, if you're the best of the best, like you have to take that into consideration, and two, you're so competitive. Like if those people operate at such a different level, like if somebody's doing something very different, and like you said, something that you can do, DJ physically can 100% do it, and they're having success, and they're specifically in this case, in Bryson's case, of statistically showing like, hey, actually, it's way more easy to play this golf course at 350 yards off the tee in these areas of the golf course than the way that you're playing it, hoping to hit a 2-iron 240 in a 20-yard fairway and playing safer and essentially leaving yourself more variables and more distance to the green. I think I understand what you're saying, and I think you could be right too, in the sense that it's probably going to have more of effect on the younger generation, but don't count out the fact that these guys are, and you actually said it perfectly, was maybe DJ just doesn't even give a shit and doesn't pay attention. And you might be right, but and maybe not specifically him. Maybe it's a Finau. Maybe it's somebody else. I mean, I watched the Tiger, the Payne Valley Cup today, which was unbelievable.
So upset that I wasn't able. Like, why wouldn't they put that on a weekend?
I know, right? And it was some of the greatest access and conversations. And
I heard JT was on fire.
So good. He was awesome. But the first thing, tee shot right off the bat, Tiger walks right over to Justin Rose and goes. He calls him Rosie too, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're trying like a longer driver shaft?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get more distance." And then they just start breaking down like, "Okay, what does a longer shaft do to your swing? Where do you feel like you have to?" They weren't even speaking English, But
That's
that
awesome.
right there, like Tiger is interested in like, okay, so what are you doing with a longer shaft? Like distance is going to be king until the USGA and the PGA Tour and these setups like tell you it's not king. And right now, distance is king. And because of that, these players need to be and think about it just like mentally, even if you were playing with him, like he's 380 and you're going to be pulling, you're just going to keep pulling like 3-iron, and you're just going to keep having those distance, some of those pictures of Bryson being 140 yards away on second shots from who he was playing with. And just look at it. Like we've seen it even statistically, like Matt Wolff, if you actually look at like the top 10, I think 6 of the top 10 guys were in the top tier of like driving distance this weekend. So there are, and you might be right. And that could be a reach, but
I don't think it's a reach. I just feel like eventually, like sooner than later, the PGA Tour is going to do something with the ball. Everybody's going to have to use the same ball or something like that.
Yeah.
Then what do guys do? You know what I'm saying? And to get back to Mark's question, just I think DJ specifically doesn't care.
Yeah, you might be right with that.
A guy who has 23 wins, whatever, and then you have Tony Finau on the other side, who doesn't have. He has that one Puerto Rico Open, which is just as good as a 3M.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
I think it would be more apt for Tony Finau to be turning heads, and he can do the same thing. Lengthy guy, like maybe not hit it quite as far, but he's got the length. And if he actually took a full swing instead of a 3/4, but who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, and
but
you're
like
right.
Your point, distance is king. Distance is king right now. You need to hit the ball far, but it's not just that. You still need to be a good golfer after. You need to be able to hit those shots, those little flip wedge